We reflect on the lives of the young people we are laying to rest today, young people whose lives were full of potential and courage. We must also lift our eyes beyond our borders and draw strength from examples of youth who are living proof that another future is possible. One such example is the fearless and principled revolutionary, Captain Ibrahim Traore, the President of Burkina Faso, who took power not out of greed, but out of an urgent need to liberate his people from the clutches of neocolonialism and foreign military domination. Traore is a living symbol of the return of revolutionary leadership in Africa. He is a young man who, like Thomas Sankara before him, has rejected Western puppet regime, expelled French troops from Burkina Faso soil, and reclaimed the dignity of his people. At only 36 years old, Traore has shown more courage and conviction than many leaders twice his age. He has put his life on the line to defend his nation's sovereignty and natural resources. He has stood firm in the face of threats from imperialist forces, and he has remained the world that Africa is not for sale. We invoke his name here today because he represents the future our young people could have. Because when we speak of the youth who died in this tragedy, we must also speak of the youth who are still standing, still fighting, and still changing the world. Captain Traore is one of them. We say to our young people, do not be discouraged by this dark moment. Be inspired by it. Take the spirit of those we bury today and let it fuel your fire. Let it remind you that leadership does not come with age. It comes with clarity of purpose, with love for the people, and with a willingness to confront injustice wherever it shows itself. The EFF calls on the youth of South Africa and the continent to follow in the footsteps of young revolutionaries like Traore by rising, organizing, and building a future where Africa is free from exploitation, free from foreign control, and free from leaders who serve only themselves. As we mourn the lives of these young people, we are reminded of a painful truth. In this country, to be young and black is to suffer. Our young people die not only on buses, in car crashes, but they die in silence every day. They die from hunger, from depression, from hopelessness, and from a system that has abandoned them. Today, 45.1% of South Africa's youth are unemployed. Almost 1 in every 2 young people is without work. They wake up every morning with no salary, no opportunity, and no dignity. They stand on the street corners with degrees and diplomas, while others are denied even the chance to study because this government has still failed to deliver free, quality, decolonized education, and a promise made on stages and forgotten in boardrooms. Meanwhile, we live in a country where prisoners receive 3 meals a day, have access to free uniform, and are offered education and rehabilitation programs, while young people go to bed on empty stomachs, wear torn clothes, and are forced to drop out of school because they cannot afford registration fees. We do not say this to dehumanize prisoners, many of whom are victims of the very same system. But we must ask, how can a government feed and clothe those it has arrested, but refuse to feed and educate those it claims to represent? It is a contradiction that speaks to the core of this regime's failure. It invests more in prison maintenance than it does in human development. It builds more jails than schools. It responds to poverty not with opportunity but with punishment. That is why the EFF calls for the introduction of a permanent unemployment grant in South Africa, a basic income that restores some measures of dignity to the millions who are trapped outside of the economy through no fault of their own. This country can afford it. there is no shortage of money, only shortage of political will.